Hi, this is Zak Mir with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Vox Markets for Sunday, the 14th of November. Starting off with Accelerate, which has done what the name of the company might suggest. We've had that near vertical move since the end of last month, and looks as though we're heading towards the £5 level, which is what was previously suggested. Maybe actually a bit of an overshoot there if we can remain within this rising trend channel from the early part of last month. Floor of that channel around the 380, 390 level, so above that looking for perhaps even as high as £5.50 by the end of the year. Moving on to Cyanconnode, which has been, I think I'm probably the only person I've ever seen talk about it actually in the past, but maybe anybody else want to put their hand up and take the credit they can. But it's always been it's been, at least in the recent past, a decent bullish prospect within that rising trend channel from back at the beginning of the year. Top of the channel and the target up to the beginning of this month was up to 18, 19 pence, but we've hit that, held above it, and looking for new greater glories. Just how high the shares could stretch is suggested by that line of resistance from March. That's currently heading as high as 28, 29 pence, and that should be seen hopefully as soon as the end of this month. The upside value while we hold above the 19 pence level, which is the top of the former 2021 price channel. So above 19, looking for up to 29 for Cyanconnode. On to a stock which is looking very interesting indeed. Cornish Metals been decent almost from the start, but Thursday, Friday, a special sort of charting setup that we had, but we broke that line of resistance there from June. Two nice rising candles above that resistance line at 16 pence, and above 16 pence we're looking for up towards the top of the channel there from back in February up towards the 26 pence level, and that may be on cue for the end of January or even earlier than that. Cellular Goods has been a decent recovery situation after giving people something of a slap in the face in what was that, March, April time, and we had a long consolidation for the shares, but nice little handle there on the price action for the end of last week, also closing above the 200-day moving average. That's around the 8.5 pence level for the first time since back in March, so that's a bit of a relief there. And the initial target here we've been looking for up towards 11 pence. If we can break 11 pence maybe this week, we could see the shares deliver a fresh leg to the upside at a fresh angle, let's say, and that would be towards that line of resistance there from back in September, heading towards 12 pence perhaps by the end of the year. So a little bit better now in terms of the upside or recovery for Cellular Goods than it was even before last week. It's a bit of a surprise on the next stock, which is relatively obscure, C4X Discovery, but vertical move through the week, and it looks as though there could be more. That's said on the basis of a potential resistance line there from back in March. That's heading towards 52 pence, and we could hope for that maybe as soon as the end of the year, so the top of that broadening triangle from the spring, implying that we could head as high as 52, maybe even a bit more than that, 52, 53, and obviously that would retest the April resistance. Company that I think I interviewed during the week, can't actually remember that far back now, but Emmerson, they've had that strategic cornerstone strategic investor plus director buying. A beautiful close to the week, so closing basically on the high of the week and also holding the gap higher that we had on the Cornerstone Investor News. That implies that while we're above around the 6.25 pence area, maybe 6.2 pence area, looking for up to 8.5 or maybe even 9 pence by the end of the year at the top of that rising trend channel from December. So looking pretty solid for Emmerson finally. Seen uranium become the flavor of the month and perhaps even the flavor of the year. Forgotten all about Chernobyl, etc., and Fukushima. Here we've got Geiger Counter, which seems to be leading the charge. We've got a resistance line there from back, well, probably this time last year, actually, and that's heading towards up towards the 90 pence area. It could be achieved by the end of the year, and certainly valid while we hold above the October resistance around the 64 pence level, so above 64, looking for 90 on Geiger Counter at the moment. Great uptrend there on those shares. Sunday, normally a chance to look at something slightly more obscure. Today's more obscure stock is Maxcyte, where we've had a weekly close above the rising 200-day moving average, which is normally a good sign. That's a 9.25 pence, and above that looking for at least a retest of 12 pence, which is the September resistance. Big picture target over the next 2 to 3 months going into January up to 17 pence, which is the top of a rising trend channel from back in February. Bit of stake building in Pires, and so worth having a look to see where the shares are on their particular technical picture. Here we've got the shares needing to break the 50-day moving average around 7.25 pence. If we can do that in the next week or so, then we could see 10 pence maybe by the end of the year. Good uptrend line there from back, I suppose this time last year actually, so the shares are potentially getting ready for a recovery in the near term. Good to see another stock which is built on the good news that it's had. Sabien technology went inside day on Friday, holding above the initial November resistance around the 27 pence level, and also the top of the gap there at 28.5. Above that, we're looking for at least a retest of September resistance just shy of 40 pence. Big picture target maybe over the next 2 to 3 months as high as 50 pence going into the end of January. Moving along to another stock which held on to its post-gap gains. Here we've got a Touchstone exploration. They had the gap there back in September, which was never filled. In fact, the shares never went near the top of the gap there around the 96 pence level, which is pretty impressive. But then we had an extra gap over the course of this month, and we've held above that as well. So that shows this is potentially a very, very strong situation. And August resistance line there heading towards £1.90, which we could see over the next 1 to 2 months. So maybe going again into January for that situation. And certainly upside value while we hold above the old October peak around £1.31. Finishing off with another stock which is looking pretty buoyant at the moment. Here we've got Tekmar Group, again slightly obscure, but that's what Sundays are for. Nice broadening triangle here. We've had an island reversal, bear trap island reversal as well, so this is looking pretty strong, and we just need to break the initial October resistance around 47 pence. Above that, looking for up to 62 pence by the end of the year, which is the top of the May broadening triangle. And upside value, at least while we hold it well above the 40 pence level in the near term. That's it from me today. More updates during the week.